In this video, I'm going to share with you how you can strengthen and develop your intuition so that it guides you into your most aligned path. My name is Carolyn Yakupich. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And remember to like this video and subscribe for more content like this. Now, one thing that gets in the way when we are being available to receive impressions or messages or visions or words from our intuition is self-trust. Now, our capacity to trust ourselves is directly related to how open we are to receive the messages coming through. And if you think about how we hold different programs in our life from childhood that kind of replay until we get off that wheel of karma, this may be one of these key components, and not only from childhood, but this stems also from past lifetimes. So a lot of us here on the planet that are here to do this light work, who are here to be guides for other people, who are here to be leaders, to share our voices, share our wisdom, that inner knowing of our gifts and our abilities that we're here to bring into the world. A lot of us have the wound of the witch. So the witch wound is very well known, that when we spoke up, when we shared our gifts, when we shared truth, whether it was herbal remedies, whether it was healing through our hands, or healing even through light language, through different ways that we knew innately, because we were completely tapped in to the divine in that lifetime, we were either hung or burned at the stake, stoned to death. There were so many very traumatic death experiences that we've had. And not only on that side, because we've lived so many lifetimes, we were also the persecutor, not only the persecuted. So if you think of all the imprinted trauma that we hold around death in relation to speaking truth, and not death, we're talking death sentence in relation to living truth, this is something that is now ready to be cleared within all of humanity. And so self-trust is directly related to how open we are to receive our guidance, to know the next steps for our life path, to be in alignment with our heart and soul. Now, how do we come into a space where we trust ourselves? What I've found over the many years of all of the different things that I've done, all the different trainings, all the different tools that I've, collected over the years, it is as simple as when we trust our intuition, we open to more self-trust. When we deny our intuition, we start to amplify that lack of self-trust. So the simplest way to open ourselves to be in that state of trust within the self is to truly listen to the messages, however they come in, whether it's a gut feeling, a full body response of a yes or no. Maybe you hear words, maybe you see visions of a future potential, of a guidance of something to do. And the question that I'm going to ask you now is, do you listen? When those messages come through, do you truly listen and trust? Now remember that our intuition is not logical. So we may be guided to things that don't make sense when we approach it from our analytical mind. And this is truly opening up into realms beyond what we can perceive for ourselves. It opens us into our full potential. The more that we trust, the more that we answer the call. And so this is the big question. I've had moments in my life where, this has been a process of developing my intuition. And I've had moments, more than one occurrence, where I've heard my intuition say to me, make sure you have your keys, as I'm walking out my front door. And of course, I brush it off. I literally can hear my ego self respond in that moment and be like, of course I have my keys. I always have my keys. They're right in my front pocket. And then I don't check my front pocket of my purse, and I walk out the door, and then I'm locked out and I can't get back in. And then I moments later go, that was the voice. That was the voice of intuition, that very soft, gentle nudge. And that's how we know it's our intuition. It's never force. It's never a state of confusion. It's always a state of clarity. And it usually comes in when we least expect it. Now, my most developed sense of intuition is hearing voice, hearing words. And what I have come to learn over the years about intuition, the more that I've developed my most prominent intuitive ability, the other ones are now developing as well, because I trust the one that I am most familiar with, the one that I know has been guiding me. So now there are visions that are coming online. Now I have feelings. I have a gut response. They're all playing a part in my life. So how do we get to this point? This is a big question. How do we get to this point where we trust? Because it's easier said than done. When we have a certain program running and a certain way of being where we deny our own inner knowing and go against it, and sometimes there's layers to unpack around why we deny. Sometimes it's to fit in. Sometimes, and a lot of the times it is to fit in. Because if you think about it, rebellion, true rebellion in the sense of stepping into our own unique expression, that's true rebellion, being liberated from all of societal norms, all of the conditioning from society. So in a sense, when we deny our intuition, when we deny that, we are creating that new condition, right, on ourself. And a lot of the times it stems from fitting in, from wanting to fit in. And this is key right now. I will come forward with an energy update soon, but we're in a month right now, in the month of February, where that is the theme, the longing to belong. So the longing to belong to something, someone, that community, that other person, something outside of ourselves, when truly the most aligned state of longing to belong is when we belong to our soul, to our spirit, to God, Goddess, to Source, to the universal flow of all that is, to the Creator. It's really coming into that aligned state of being. So how do we develop this self-trust that has been programmed in us? Whether it is through past lifetimes, this lifetime, you don't need to have the recollection of where it came through and from. That does not matter. What matters is that we make the choice in this now moment to change the pattern, to disrupt the false narrative. So meditate, meditate, meditate. Breathe, breathe, breathe. This is the way to freedom. This is the way to clarity. This is the way to self-trust. And it's not a one and done thing. Meditation as a daily practice will help to open you to your intuition, to connect in to your higher self, which is a conduit for the divine. And it's this access point. Your higher self will pull in from your oversoul all the downloads and the information that you need in this lifetime to completely fulfill your mission and purpose in the world. And it doesn't have to be this grandiose thing, your mission, your purpose. Our purpose here is to be present, to be aligned in this now moment, meaning we're not projecting into the future based on our past. So in order to get to this state of presence, we practice it. When we practice presence through meditation, we create a new neural network in our brain that brings us into this state of heart-brain coherence. And from this state, our body is relaxed and we are open to receive. We create space. Now, one level deeper, sometimes we have this body, these programs that are stored as muscle memory in our body, pulling us out of the present moment, even in meditation. So, especially for the Western mind with the hustle, that culture that we have been brought up in, and the information that is continuously being bombarded out into us through programming, through, commercials, through TV, through going out and seeing different billboards, just everything is always being pumped out with information. So to really come into that state of clarity and stillness within the body, sometimes it is necessary to do some form of movement before we sit for meditation. So the most powerful times to reprogram our state of being is when we wake up in the morning and right before we go to bed. These are really powerful times where the brain waves are shifting and changing, and we can reprogram ourselves. And if that is not an ideal time to sit and meditate, then by all means, throughout the day, finding whatever time works. Any time is the best time. And if you are noticing it more difficult throughout your day, in the middle of the day to meditate, then moving your body, doing some form of movement just for a couple of minutes to get the energy moving. So you could be like shaking, you could dance, you could, work out, you could go to the gym, anything. Again, it doesn't have to be a super long practice, but something to move the physical body, to move the energy, to get everything moving so that your body then is in a state of relaxation and the meditation can land deeper. And as you meditate and start to create this as a daily practice for yourself, you are retraining your body to be present. And in this state of presence, you create space between your thoughts. When you create space between your thoughts that fluctuate, which is the nature of the mind, that space is the opening where the higher self brings your messages through. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have these profound mystical experiences when you meditate. Every day, in my experience, meditation is different. It feels different. My experience is different. And that being said, the longer that I meditate consecutively in my life with the same meditation, the deeper I go. And I notice how profound that experience can be because I've had that experience and I'm sharing it with you now. The importance of meditation will help you to come into that state of self-trust. When you create that space and the messages come through, they may come through during meditation, they may come through over a certain amount of days. And what that's doing is every time you create space in your meditation between the fluctuations of the thoughts in your mind, every time there's that gap, you're in the present moment. And then you're in the next present moment, and in this present moment, and in this present moment. And it continues. And then you move into your day. And you will start to notice when your mind and your body is pulling you out of the present moment. And you can bring yourself back here and now into the present moment. And that creates space. And this just continues to build and grow and expand your consciousness into the stillness of the present moment. And that is when your intuition gets stronger. That is when you start to trust, when you hear the soft voice, when you feel the gut instinct or the full body yes or the full body no. And remember that when these intuitive hits come, these intuitive, messages and guidances, when they come, they're not going to be clashing loud. They are here so that we can come back into the subtlety of our being. And when we're tuned in subtly to the world, to our inner world, we will then be tuned into the subtlety of the outer world. And the subtle body is deeply connected to our soul. In the Kundalini Yoga tradition, it is said when the soul leaves the body, the subtle body with all the imprints of our chakra system, the Akashic records, it encases the soul as it returns to source. And this is all of the information, say even all the unresolved karma that goes with us. And then we come back onto earth and we have the subtle body with the imprints from the past lifetimes that we are here to work out again. And we are at a time on the planet where it's the potential for many human beings to have their last earthly incarnation. We are in the golden age. So there are layers upon layers of mystery school teachings and information within this when it comes to our intuition. And to keep it in the most simplistic form and accessible to all, it is simply being present, being in the moment. And because we've been so trained to be out of the moment, it is in fact necessary to do something daily, meditate, to be retraining ourselves to be in that moment. And as we create more and more space, we are available. We are in a more relaxed state of being. And as we are in this state of being, the messages come through and we can receive them. We are no longer pushing them away. And as we receive them and act on them, we are developing and strengthening our self-trust. And the more we trust, the more we open, the more we relax, the more we receive. Thank you so much for joining me in this video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be back very soon with more videos like this.